Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman Lois Season 3, and this is going to be my trailer breakdown for Episode 4 for this season, otherwise entitled Too Close to Home. But of course, before we get into anything else, let's actually watch this goddamn trailer.
No researching, no emailing. Today is officially rest day.
Who stole your truck?
Got stolen? What happened to your face?
You stay away from my family.
Do not bother your mother. Both of you stop. Told you to take it easy.
Wrong day for that.
So last episode, of course, continued on Lois's cancer journey, if you want to say, like the end of the previous episode before that. We had like the full-on reveal of what was going on with her, what she'd learned right at the beginning of that episode. And in episode 3, or last episode, we see the first stages of dealing with that. And Lois pretty much trying to put other things in the way, because it's not that she's ignoring the cancer. It's and like what she, all this news she's learned, and what she's going to have to go through. It's about the fact that she's thinking about it all the time. So it's putting stuff, other stuff there to, keep her mind in check, if you want to put it, and keep herself busy and keep herself focused. But of course, this has her ended up missing certain things and also getting in some trouble. So yeah, but by the end of the episode, we see Lois go on her first proper thing, and we should see that, carry on in this episode as well. But of course, one of the bigger reveals in the episode right at the end, or actually throughout the episode, we'd seen this, blood. There was blood brought up. There was some blood spatters, and then there's a lot of blood bags. I'm like, okay, what's this blood? What's going on here? And we actually learn it's Superman's blood. Now, there was a lot of blood there, so I'm like, that's a question in itself. Why is there so much blood? How are they getting that much blood from Superman? I'm sure that'll be explained. Maybe there's technology where they can replicate it, like fake blood, if that makes sense. Like synthetic blood. That's probably the best term to use. Like that's actually, I don't think that's an actual thing in real life, synthetic blood. So yeah, so it could be something along those lines. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But of course, the big thing is that Henry Miller, aka Adam Man, has reached a ceiling, and they're not going to pass it in regards to the test they want to do. So they're going to have to find a new subject potentially. Who that is? Question mark, who knows? But of course, before we get into the actual breakdown of the trailer, we will quickly read out the synopsis or description for the episode, as it does give us a bit more context as to what's going on. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comments section down below your various thoughts on this episode, what you're looking forward to, everything like that. Always curious to hear what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, looking forward to this episode, everything like that, drop a like on the video. It takes 2 seconds. Lois interrupts an intense conversation between Clark and John Henry. Meanwhile, Kyle tries to run interference between Sarah and Lana. Lastly, Jonathan has a heated discussion with Candace's dad. So, rest day. That is the emphasis from Clark towards Lois at the beginning of this trailer. No researching, no emailing, pretty much just no work in general. Take a break, take a rest day, just relax. But of course, we know Lois Lane is probably not going to take any of that advice. The big question really is whether she gets herself into any more trouble like we saw last episode. But I have a feeling, at least based off what we're seeing in the trailer, we are actually going to see Lois take a quote-unquote rest day for the most part, though she'll still play into the episode. We might see some more things elsewhere. I don't know if this is going to be like a filler episode. I'm definitely not saying that, but I feel like they might sort of just calm down a bit and just let other things play out, maybe stuff like from the side from last episode. And then when we get to episode 5 and 6, they'll push through more with the Lois stuff. But like we saw at the end of last episode, Lois, did go off for her first cancer treatment right at the end. So I do wonder, I don't know if this is going to play out, but I do wonder if there's a bit of a time jump, not of a month or 2 months, but a week, maybe a week and a half or so, just so we pick up don't pick up the day after last episode. But then again, we might just do that. I'm not too sure exactly what they're going to do. But if they did do a bit of a time jump, a week and a half or something, it would help with pushing Lois's journey forward a bit. But then again, there are other things in the trailer and also the synopsis or description that pick up from last episode. And you would think they would be issues that would continue in the coming days after the events of last episode, rather than take a week or a week and a half off. I'm not too sure, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But this is a type of episode where I could easily see them taking a bit of a time jump, but who knows. But we do get to see Superman and Steel maybe appearing to be in Metropolis or something like that, because there's also a lot of fire going on with us actually seeing Clark or Superman holding up a massive, I think it's a tree log on fire, a massive tree. Actually, it could be a forest fire or something like that. Why would there be this massive tree in Metropolis? But then again, there is a shot of what looked to be either John Henry in his steel suit or maybe Natalie in hers flying over Metropolis early in the trailer. You can see the blue lights that they have, or the blue flame sort of things that come off their suit. But anyway, there also appears that Jordan is there with Superman talking to him briefly before flying off at this point in the trailer here. It doesn't show Jordan's face, but just looks like his hair. And if it was just a random person that Superman was talking to, I don't think Superman would just leave them here with all this flaming stuff going around them. So I'm going to assume it's Jordan. But obviously, as we saw, in episode 1 and 2, Jordan's sort of been like backing off in regards to, doing stuff with his dad because of him going out on his own. So I don't know if Superman wanted Jordan to be here or Jordan showed up just thinking that Superman needed his help, and maybe Jordan does something which just gets in the way. I'm not too sure exactly what it is. But then again, this could be Superman actually wanting, Jordan or Superboy to come along with him and help out. I'm not too sure exactly how it's going to play out, but Jordan is either going to be a big help or a big hindrance. I don't think anywhere in between. It's one of the two. Now, of course, one of the things from last episode was the stuff with Candace's dad and Jonathan's truck. So it looks like Candace's dad plus Jonathan's truck, plus Jonathan's face, plus a fist equals drama. And we do have Lois talking to Candace's father, and I don't know, is he just behind, just some dodgy dealings with the car fets and, tearing them apart, like the chop shop sort of stuff? Or is there more to it? As I've said before, I brought this up a couple of times because Candace was dealing with ex-Kryptonite last season, and if he is dodgy doing this thing with the cars and the chop shop and stuff like that, he might have been a part of that ex-Kryptonite center that was destroyed last season. That whole, employment thing would be gone now, which would make him pretty frustrated. As I've said more than once, I'm probably beating the horse dead when I say it, but they did leave that story open with the ex-Kryptonite and that being, that distribution center and hub being destroyed, but obviously it was just a smaller part of a larger operation. So maybe we might see something play out from that in this episode or in the next couple of episodes, because surely it happens this season. They left it open for a reason, unless they forgot it, but hopefully that's not the case. But, it wouldn't shock me if Candace's dad was involved in that, or at least knew people involved with it, which then led to Candace dealing the ex-Kryptonite like we saw last season, which, as we said in the review, was apparently to help keep their family afloat while her dad was suffering from some heart condition or something like that. But that could just be a cover. Maybe Candace knew what she was doing and, maybe she gets exposed. I don't know if she's good, bad, we'll wait and see. Now, Bruno Mannheim is in this trailer. There's a brief shot of him, and this maybe could connect to that shot early in the trailer of the steel suit flying over Metropolis, because we did have John Henry looking into Onomatopoeia's powers last episode very briefly in the scene before talking to Natalie. So maybe he makes a connection that takes him to Metropolis, which could have Bruno Mannheim seeing him flying over the city from his balcony. Not sure if there would be an interaction or not, because I don't know if Bruno will be like, oh, there's John Henry. I don't think that's going to be the case. But I don't know if it's going to be something where our John Henry recognizes Bruno Mannheim from his Earth, or I don't know, something along those lines. I'm very curious to see what their things are going to be, because I think that's going to build up. I think we're going to get an interaction between them sooner rather than later. Don't know if it's going to be in this episode, but I think before episode 6 or 7, we're going to get them interacting, which is obviously going to be very interesting for our John that we hang out with, because he got that information from Diggle last season about Bruno being involved with his death, and then also just Bruno Mannheim's side as well, because he thinks John Henry is dead, which he is. But of course, now there's this John Henry walking around, which would be confusing the hell out of him. So that interaction should be good. Don't know if we're going to get in this episode, but we might. We'll have to wait and see. But obviously, the thing I said from the end of last episode that's going to be an interesting thing leading into this episode and just episodes going forward is this stuff with Superman's blood. Is it cloning? Is it just power-wise or Kryptonian DNA? That's the big question. What exactly are they looking to do specifically, and what we're going to see play out in the next couple of episodes? And who could they get to raise the ceiling of potential, when using Superman's blood? Because obviously, as we said, Adam Mann or Henry Miller, he wasn't that guy. So, who do they get? The only person I can think of is it Jordan? Is it Jonathan? Jonathan's got that DNA from Superman's side, but he doesn't have the powers. So that actually might be an interesting, I don't want to jump down that theory, but I don't think they would use Jordan because he's already got the powers and stuff like that. But would they use Jonathan because he has that DNA from Superman, maybe has that higher ceiling because he is half Kryptonian? I don't know, maybe that's what they do. Bruno would have to know all this stuff though. Bruno would have to learn that, Superman has 2 kids, and 2 kids with, or one has powers, or at least they both have the access to that DNA. So, I don't know, maybe they do something with Jonathan, because if it's not him, then I don't know who they use. The only other option would be Tao, and he's over on the Bizarro world. So, and I don't know if he can come back. So, yeah, I'm not too sure exactly where they're going to go down, what road they're going to go down, but maybe Jonathan's an option. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That's food for thought. Food for thought. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it, show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on all the stuff we went over in this video. There's no primary images as of this point, so bar my what you're going to do. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down there in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.